Hello friends, I welcome you all to the Decode IAS YouTube channel. Today we are going to continue the PT Polity series. So today's topic from PT 365 is from interstate border dispute. Interstate border disputes happening in India. As the name suggests, it is basically the border dispute between two states. The particular issue which is in the news since last couple of months is the border dispute between Assam and Meghalaya. Both the states are from India's northeastern part, and the issue is not something very new. The Assam and Meghalaya government has agreed to settle the long pending interstate border dispute, and the entire border dispute lies in 6 areas. 6 areas, that means the entire border area. Say, for example, the entire border area, you can club it into 17 parts or 20 parts. Out of those 17 or 20 parts, 6 points or 6 areas are in the dispute. The issue starts from the fact that Meghalaya is a state which got its statehood in 1972, was actually a part of Assam, and Meghalaya was carved out of Assam and became a full-fledged state in 1972. So Meghalaya is a state which got its statehood, but actually it was a part of Assam at some point of time. Approximately these two states have a border of 884 kilometers. There are 12 points of dispute. So out of the 884 kilometers, there are 12 points where these two states have disputes. Areas like Boko, Kamrup, Langpi, Kamrup Metropolitan, Hailakandi districts, etc. This dispute stemmed from the fact that Meghalaya government refused to accept the Assam Reorganization Meghalaya Act of 1969. So when Meghalayan government refused to accept the law called Assam Reorganization Act of 1969, since then the dispute between the two states started. The recent decision came after the formation of a special regional committees by both the states to resolve the issue. See, the problem is when two states, they form, they create, and among them one is actually carved out of the other. There are many ethical issues, there are many ethnic issues, there are many cultural issues. There are some people who are in favor of this bifurcation, there are some people who do not favor this kind of a bifurcation. It's just like a partition of a single state. A single state has been partitioned on the lines of socio-economic, cultural aspect, and one part of that particular state is getting carved out from its mother state or the parent state. That is where the problem arises. It's all about sharing of resources. So हम आज इस बड़े स्टेट से छोड़कर हम एक अपना स्टेट बना रहे हैं. That means we need to have something, some identity that we want to preserve, and that is why we are actually carving out of the state. और उसके बाद ये एक्सेप्टेंस की बात है. जैसे भारत पाकिस्तान बना. पाकिस्तान was a part of India. Pakistan was a part of India. Pakistan was carved out of India. And there are a lot many issues with respect to that. The same thing when happens within a state, in a country, it is called interstate borders disputes. So if you can see in the map, there are many other areas which are having similar kind of a problem. Say for example, Haryana, Punjab are fighting over Chandigarh. Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh are fighting over some valleys, Sarchu Valley, which lays between Leh-Manali highway. So they are fighting for the Sarchu Valley. Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, they are again in conflict. Gujarat, Rajasthan, conflict. Odisha, Bengal, conflict with respect to Kanika Sands Island. Maharashtra, these kind of questions can be asked in your MCQ, right? Odisha and West Bengal are having a border dispute with respect to Kanika Sands Island. You can see here. Apart from that, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Belgaum district ko lekar they were fighting. Karnataka, Kerala, Kasargod is an area over which they are fighting. So these are the areas where MCQ can be asked. Alright, so I hope this is clear. Now, this is the last portion of this topic, that Indian administrative divisions and its interstate border disputes. The administrative divisions. Number one of the oldest and the greatest civilizations of the world, India, a present-day Indian Union, was formed out of 550 princely states and British territories. This is something we know. While states were forming, the organization that was in charge of this was State Reorganization Commission, 1953. which divided the Indian territory into 14 states and 6 union territories on linguistic and other basis. Today, through subsequent reorganizations, the total number of administrative divisions in India is 28 states and 8 union territories. The division is not without cracks and in certain borders. That means there are certain areas within all these divisions which are having certain cracks based on which disputes may arise. But the fact is that based on the reorganization, there are certain issues among certain states which we have just discussed through the map. So let's move into the second topic. The second topic is related to the 7th schedule. 7th schedule is basically a schedule which deals with the distribution of legislative power. Distribution of legislative power between center and states. It distributes the legislative competence. It talks about the legislative competence as to which are the areas where the central government exclusively can make laws, which are the areas that state government exclusively can make laws, which are the areas based on which both center and state can make laws. Now, the issue is basically that what are the areas or what are the tendencies of the central government in the recent past when it comes to the sharing of legislative power or distribution of legislative power. The only thing that we need to understand is the fact that central government is having a tendency to get all those subjects which are there in the exclusive jurisdiction of the state. Either they want to shift those subjects to union list or the exclusive power where the central can make laws, or they want to shift those subjects which are right now in the state list to the concurrent list where both central and state can make laws. So it's basically the general tendency of the central government is to take all those important issues on which the state government has exclusive right to make laws, to shift it either to union list or to concurrent list, just to disempower the state legislative assemblies. So it is a unitary tendency. It's a unitary tendency. It is not good for a federal structure. But at the same time, that's the fact that there's a general tendency to disempower the state assemblies. Article 246 is the article which confers legislative powers on the parliament and state legislatures. The subjects which are enumerated in the 7th schedule is basically based on some entries in certain lists. So list number 1 or union list is union list is known as list number 1. List number 2 is state list. List number 3 is concurrent list. And all these lists have different entries. Union list originally has 97 entries. That means on 97 topics the central could make laws. Today the list has increased from 97 to 100. This is a union list where the parliament has exclusive competence to make laws. Normally in union list, the issues which are of national importance are being kept. Say for example, defense, foreign affairs, railways, banking, etc. When it comes to list 2, that is state list, over which the state's exclusive legislative competence is there, issues which are of local importance. Say for example, public order, public health, police, sanitation, etc. Originally the state list used to have 66 entries, but today it has reduced to 61. So union list, the list is increasing. The state list, it's the entries are decreasing. Last but not least, the concurrent list, a list with over which central and state both have the legislative competence. Issues like education, population control, family planning, criminal law, protection of wildlife, etc. Originally the concurrent list used to cover 47 areas or 47 entries, but today it has increased to 52. You see the general pattern. Union list is increasing, concurrent list is increasing. It's the state list which is decreasing. And today the reason behind this issue, why this issue has come up, is the fact that the 15th Finance Commission, this is the news, the 15th Finance Commission, they actually reviewed the 7th schedule, particularly when issues like climate change and pandemic, that is COVID-19 pandemic, has come up as the greatest challenge for any country, particularly India. The 15th Finance Commission is reviewing 7th schedule as to which list is competent enough to cover the issues of climate change and pandemic, something which is not mentioned in all these lists. That's the basic reason behind which the 15th Finance Commission is reviewing the 7th schedule. And as far as the concurrent list is concerned, the Sarkaria Commission always thought that the concurrent list is the area which is the grey part, the grey area. The grey area because both center and state occupy the legislative competence. And it is also written that whenever there will be a conflict between the central and the state list, the laws rather, the central law will prevail. So technically, in concurrent list, the competence of state legislative power can easily be subdued by the central list whenever they are in conflict. So that is why the concurrent list is the grey area as per the Sarkaria Commission. I believe this topic is quite clear. In the next video, we will discuss the issues with respect to borrowing powers of the state government. Thank you.